Hi, hey, Russ here. Welcome back to my shop. Today we're going to talk about pulling nails. Especially in pallet wood, trying to pull nails out can be a real pain. Conventionally, you take a regular nail and you drive it into your wood, or somebody else drove it in, and you get ready to pull it. Put it in there, hook it onto the head, and you pop it back out. It comes right out. Well, especially with pallet wood, that is not the case. So after you get it, you cut your board off, split your board, take it off, and you got this nail standing proud on the beam part. And that's the best part of those pallets usually. But you've got to get those nails out if you want to use that part. So how do you get that nail out? Well, first you try to pull it, and instead of pulling the nail, it pops the head off, breaks it, or bends it up. And that happens all the time. Now you got nothing to grab a hold of with your claw hammer. If you're going to use the claw hammer to pull nails, I would recommend one with a little less curve. This one has a lot more curve on it. This works a lot better for what we're going to do. But there's two ways to take that nail out when it does that. And you can't use the claw part per se on the head. You can take a pair of side cutters, and that works real well. I do this all the time on smaller nails. You put it on there as far as you can, get it good and flat with the tip right against your wood, and then you squeeze it as hard as you can without cutting the nail in two. And then you just lift up. If it doesn't come all the way by the time you get up, go back down, get a new bite, and do it again. Walk that nail out. Usually 2 or 3 pulls, and you can get that nail out using side cutters. But you can still pull these nails out with nothing more than your claw hammer. And the way you do that is that you get that nail in there, and it's standing up. And if I'm trying to pull this nail out, this is a little bit more of a challenge because now this head is way up here. Easiest way to pull out a nail, and it pulls out slowly in increments, is to actually pull it sideways. You take your claw hammer, you put it on, and instead of pushing that hammer this way, you take that hammer and you go sideways with it. So I'm going to hold it there, and I take and I pull sideways with this hammer. And guess what? It pulled that nail right out. It digs into the nail and pulls it right out. Now this is a ribbed nail. These are real hard to pull out. And sideways is the only way you're going to get that nail out when it's like this. Sometimes you still aren't going to get them out, quite honestly. What's going to happen is that nail will actually break off rather than pull out. And there's nothing you can do when you hit that. But actually, probably 95% of the time, as long as that nail isn't rusted through right at the very surface, you'll be able to pop that nail and be able to pull it out. Especially if you take, and before you start trying to pry the nail out, you take and hit it one time real sturdy, right straight down, and drive that nail in slightly. And you break the bond between that nail and that board, and it'll pull out a lot easier once you've broken that bond. So always remember to tap that nail one time first, then start pulling it out. But when you have one like a straight shank, and I put that in, let me drive this in there. And this is really hard up ash. I could never drive that nail all the way. It'll bend it over. And so I drive the nail in so that I can show you. So now to pull that nail out, this is a smooth shank instead of a ribbed shank. So when you go this way and you go sideways, a lot of times it actually just slides along that nail. But what you do is you just keep going back and forth until it either starts moving or you're really getting to a point where you're just going back and forth and sliding on that nail and peeling it back. So if that happens, turn your hammer about 45 degrees from where you were leveraging back and forth, and then do it again in that direction. Eventually you'll find it will bite in totally, and once it bites that nail, it'll start pulling it out instead of sliding on it. And so that's how you pull a nail out, is by going sideways. Anyway, this is my quick tip of the day. I wanted to show that to you. Oh, by the way, did you notice? I actually used my horizontal moxie vise to hold this piece of wood. Since this thing was so short, trying to leverage this hammer and everything, take those nails out of this little board, would have been difficult to do if I didn't have some way to hold it down. So, you can see right off, a couple days ago I did this video. You did see that video, right? Good. Anyway, so I actually got a chance to use it in showing you how to pull nails. So, if you have any questions, please give me a comment. If you have any suggestions or comments, just leave them. Believe me, I will answer them if it's a good question. I want to thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to like this video, and more importantly, come back again because there's going to be lots more before we're done. See you.